In today's video, we're going to be discussing my new Paul Reed Smith custom-made guitar, and I think you're going to be shocked what this ends up being. So what is this guitar? Well, you guys returning to the channel that follow what we do here on this channel know the podcast every Friday at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. This Friday, my buddy Nathan surprised me by sending me this guitar. Oh my God. Like, I don't even want to show this, what I'm showing you guys. Look, it's the back. No, I'm just kidding. Oh my God, that is the sexiest thing I've ever seen in my life. And after the show, which I was really choked up and still trying to process what happened, I called him and he told me the story behind the guitar, and I want to share the story with you guys. So to start the story, first let me tell you who Nathan is. Nathan is not only one of my best friends, but he used to work for me, helping me repair guitars and working at my store. One day, Nathan decided that he was going to move from Arizona to Maryland to work for Paul Reed Smith Guitars. He loves the guitars and he just wanted to work there. So he moved across the country and started in the buffing and sanding area of the factory, where he has done a fantastic job for 4 years now. Now, 2 years ago, he saw my Sharpen My Axe episode with Tyler Larson's guitar, which was a PRS, and that got his wheels turning, and he decided to do a Sharpen My Axe of his own. But what I didn't know was he was making the guitar for me. So what he did is he got his hands on a used 2001 Custom 24 with a very unique hardtail bridge. To transform this guitar, Nathan had to solicit the help of 18 friends and co-workers who worked on this guitar on their own personal time. Paul Reed Smith Guitars allows their employees to work on personal projects to improve their skills as guitar builders on their off hours, as long as there's supervisors there. So over the period of 2 years, him and 18 other friends and coworkers worked on this guitar. To transform this guitar into what it is now, it started with Walter Jimenez, who went ahead and stripped the old finish off. This is a very long process because the polyurethane that's on the guitar was 20 years old. So it took a lot of work. And to put the Sandstorm Fade finish on it, they have to do what's called a triple sand out, which is where they stain the guitar 3 different times. So they have to stain it, sand it, stain it, sand it, repeat that process 3 times. And that also was the case for the headstock veneer as well. Then the guitar went to Jason Gregory, who did the headstock veneer and the truss rod cover. I know what you're thinking, why doesn't the truss rod cover match the guitar? Well, it's because it's a piece of wood from Nathan's employee guitar that he made for his 2-year anniversary, and he stained it the color of his actual guitar. So then the guitar had to go to Dave Meredith, who did the base coat and all the sanding. And after that, it went to Paul Boyd, where he did stripping, more preparation, and more staining. Tanner Nicholson did the base coat and spraying. Matt Jennings did the top coat and sanding. Nathan did the buffing and top coat repair. Austin Snell did the fret leveling, which are fantastic, by the way. Thank you, Austin. Jordan Hoyt installed the signature and did all the writing on the back, which looks beautiful. Brad Bowman did the nitrocellulose satin finish on the back of the neck. The neck feels like it's natural, and it looks like it's natural, but it's got a very thin satin finish on it. Kerry installed the tuning keys. Joe Norton did the electronics to Nathan's specifications, which I'll explain in a minute what that means. Eric carved the nut and did the final setup, and the interesting thing about this is Eric did the original nut on this guitar back in 2001. So the nut is now made of bone, but it's carved by the same person who carved the old one. I also need to thank Gene Nooney for being so awesome to work with, securing some of the parts and shipping the guitar to me. And we also need to thank Andrew Jones, Judy Schaefer, Mark Quigley, Megan Elfland, and Jack Higginbotham for their help with this project as well. So let's talk about what he did and what they did to this guitar that took 2 years on their personal time. First, they refinished the guitar in a beautiful color called Desert Sandstorm, which not only is, the most beautiful color I've ever seen, but, and I might be biased, but I love the fact that it's Desert Sandstorm. I live in Arizona where literally we have desert sandstorms. So it's just kind of cool that not only is it a great color, but the name actually kind of reminds me, of where I live. Now, the other thing he changed was he took out the one-piece bridge and he put the adjustable bridge because he knows I like to change the tuning and the string gauges on the guitars, so it's really cool. He knew this guitar was for me, he said, because it's super light, and then he knows I like the lighter guitars. He also knew that I don't love the finish on the necks of the guitars. I like raw finished necks or unfinished necks, and so they removed the finish off the back of this neck. It feels amazing. This is the wide thin carve, which is one of my favorite carves. The things that he did next actually were even cooler than I would ever think of. They used a piece of scrap wood to put a maple veneer on there, and then of course stain the guitar, the headstock, to match the body. What I love is they use the Dusty Warring black tuning keys so they kind of disappear into the black spray on the edges of the guitar. He was so detail oriented, they even went ahead and put a thicker piece of veneer on there so that the natural binding, there's like a natural binding I'm going to show you here, on the side of the headstock, matches the natural binding on the body. It's one of those details like, yeah, maybe you can't appreciate that, but when you're holding the guitar and you look down, just as a sight line, it looks so amazing. It's super impressive. They removed the original nut and put a bone nut on there, something he also knew that I love. I love those bone nut. And then to make it extra special, he made the truss rod cover, or had the truss rod cover made out of a piece of wood that's from his employee guitar. When they hit their 2-year anniversary, they get to get an employee guitar, and his employee guitar, he took a piece of the excess wood and had the truss rod cover made for me, which makes the guitar even more special. Then they inscribed on the back of the headstock, KYG, sharpen my axe, Phil McKnight, which is, actually that's what I think took my breath away, just because it's in the same font, you know, when they write on the back of the PRS headstocks, it looks so official. Not everybody's gonna understand this. I barely understand this myself. I've always prided myself on this channel of saying I have the best friends in the world, and I've introduced many of them to you, including Nathan, who's been on podcasts and been on Instagram with me and videos. But even then, I'm shocked. I couldn't fathom this gift. And reason why that's important is, you know, Nathan, 2 years, he kept this a secret from me, and all my friends apparently knew about it, because as soon as I got it, they all came out of the woodwork and were like, yeah, we saw pictures of it a year ago when he was working on it over the last 2 years. Not only did it take him 2 years because all that hard work had to be done on personal time, but also, you know, it's an expensive endeavor, and he doesn't, you know, let's just say he had to, this is a person who literally spent way above what he should to do this for me. And I don't know how I'm going to repay him for this, but I will find a way. Next is something really cool between me and Nathan. So Nathan owns a very special guitar for me. He owns my custom 22. I had a custom 22 that I loved, and I decided to sell it one day to Nathan. And in that guitar, I did this. I put a 3-way switch here where I like it, a tone knob here, and a volume here. And the reason is because I like having the volume right there. I love that. So when they wired it up, Nathan had them wired up in the way he knew I liked it. And then he added my favorite pickups. The 5708 in the neck, which is my favorite pickup for the neck pickup in a PRS. And the metal is my favorite bridge pickup. And one of the things I like to show everybody is this. The thing I don't like about the metal pickup is the name. This is the clean channel in the amp. I'm on the bridge position. So you can see, it says metal, but instead it sounds great. It pushes the amp a little bit. It's really a mid, I would consider it a mid-gain pickup. With the name metal on it, you think it's gonna be, you know, flamethrower. It's not, it's fantastic. So another thing he did that was awesome. So on the bridge pickup, you get a little bit of bite. It's very obvious. It almost feels like I turned the tone control around. And what I like about this pickup combination is, if you're not familiar with PRS and the custom 22-24 concept, is the 22 fret version of this moves the neck pickup a little forward, and you get a little bit more warmth and more bass response, fuller tone, and then when you get the custom 24, yeah, you get the 2 extra frets, but then the neck pickup gets pushed back a little bit, and it gets a little brighter, more mids, And that's why I like this combination of these pickups in this kind of model, because this is so much more dramatically warmer than this. It gives the illusion that that's still happening. Now, what I love about 24 fret PRS guitars isn't because I use the 24 frets. I don't play up there. What happens is visually, I like having the 12th fret here. I know that sounds weird. It's weird. It's the way it sits in my lap and I look down. I'm looking straight at the E pentatonic, which I like. Not the pentatonic per se, but like having it anchored right here. My hand is perfectly right here. On the 22, although I love that guitar, it changes things. It's like it moves it shifts where I see the 12th fret. So I've always loved how, and I love how the neck just feels like it's just perfect for me. So the 24th fret has always been a great one. They left the brass inserts on the side, which I think is really cool because, you know, I like the plastic white dots, but I think the brass dots are even cooler because you just don't see those anymore from PRS. And very, very, very cool. But man, I gotta tell you, just playing this thing without having all the emotional attachment to it, to what happened, it's just one of the best playing PRSs I've ever played in my life. And like I said, I might be biased, but it's absolutely true. Neck pickup. You know, it's funny. I'm trying to think of what to say next as I go through the specifications. Like I normally do a video on this channel where I'm going through the specifications of the guitar, but this guitar means so much that I don't know how to just do this video without, I just don't know how to do this video. I just have to say that this is the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me. And I'm very lucky to have a very good friend and a very good friend network. And not only lucky to have great friends, but friends that have great friends to help them do something like this. So I really want to say thank you to Nathan and to every single person who worked on this guitar at PRS. I know that was your personal time, and I know time is valuable. That's why I always end every video with thank you for sharing your time with me. I want to really say thank you for sharing your time with me, because I'm literally overwhelmed. And I promise you, not only will I cherish this guitar forever, but this guitar is the first guitar I've played in 7 years that has made me, in the last couple days, play it over my Mira. I don't know why I'm saying custom. I have a 2013 Mira that I've been playing nonstop for 7 years. I've mentioned it in so many videos as my #1 guitar. I feel like it's time to not retire it, but put it in a case for a while and maybe give this guitar the next 7 years of my life. And I want to thank you guys for that. And I want to thank everybody watching this video. And I appreciate you guys because this is fun to share stuff with you that's not necessarily the YouTuber stuff. You know what I mean? This is beyond that. Like I said, this isn't just a gear review. This is sharing something I think very personal with you, and I hope it inspires you guys to work on your guitars. I feel very humbled that my video inspired Nathan to do something like this. I hope Nathan inspires you guys to do something like this. work on a guitar, do something like this, improve a guitar for somebody or for yourselves. I think it's really cool. And I think Nathan has definitely set the bar very high for Sharpen My Axe. And I'm happy to say that I will, this has inspired me to do a couple more Sharpen My Axes, maybe add a little octane to them and do something a little crazier than I've been doing in the past. Up that game a little bit. I don't know if I could up it to this game. I'm not going to be able to beat these guys, but I promise you a little bit more than that. On that note, I want to thank everyone for hanging out for this video. To the next time, thank you for your time and know your gear.